What's up? What's up? What's up? Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell. I do Dreams PS4 content, which is basically Sony's Garage Builder, and I also do Garage Builder content. So I'm a creation channel. I am going to be making a game. I'm thinking of making a Doom Mario game. So that's what I was thinking of doing. So whenever I make a Garage Builder game, I do have a FPS template, like not a template, like how to make an FPS game, and that might appear. My tutorials will appear up here if you want to know all the other tutorials that I have for Game Builder Garage. And I also have a playlist section of Dreams PS4 how to make games and Garage Builder how to make games. So watch those because both these programs basically use the same type of mechanism, not the same layout, but the same type of mechanism to make games. So let me first start with how you can actually get the 2D layout, because this right here is the most important step. On the Z-axis up here, turn it to the Z-axis first, make a box. Typically what you're doing, all you're doing with the first box, don't make a second box yet, is making these settings, going here, not there, sorry, not there, going here to material, making it slippery, and then copying these settings. You might want to keep it visible first because that'll make it to where you can see exactly where it is on the screen. Pull out a game screen object. So now you can see where the box is. This boundary makes it to where whenever our character runs into an enemy character, he doesn't go outside of the boundaries and it stays inside of a 2D plane. So you might have noticed whenever you're trying to make a 2D game, your character might, if he was to run into an enemy character, he might actually run along, end up going outside of the boundaries of the 2D game. These boxes keep you in a 2D field going left and right. And if you want to make it to where the person looks right or to the side whenever the game starts, you just flip it to the side from the Z-axis. We are still on this first object. Switch it to X, or switch it to the Y-axis to where there's a darker yellow at the bottom. Make sure the person is on top of this yellow, and make sure your enemy is also on top of this yellow. This will make it to where he starts out on this little field right here. I'll show you how to make an actual level soon where you don't have to have this little yellow here, but it's just good to start it out right here. The object, make it longer. Make it longer. Pull out a game screen object. This is basically one of your cameras, and connect it to the player that you play as. Put left stick from input into left and right, and on the Z-axis, flip the character to the side. This will make it to where he starts the game looking left and right. That's how you do that real easy. Here's my settings for the player character. You can copy all these settings if you want to. And here's my settings for the enemy character. It's not much, but I am going to have an enemy character tutorial. Here's my settings for the game screen also. Anytime you need to look at it from the top side, just switch it to overhead, the game screen. And this will allow you to see things from the top side. You want to make sure that the boundaries are not destroyable. You want to make sure it's invisible, not destroyable, slippery. You also don't want it destructive, but you also want it solid. You do not want it movable. Then after you do all that, clone the box. Clone the box and put one on the other side. You want to make sure they're not too close together. Typically, you don't want the box objects to squeeze the characters because then it makes it hard to walk left and right. That's also why we made it slippery. You want to make sure your enemy character is destructible. And if we were to switch it to game screen, and I'll have a pixel art tutorial soon. I think there's a way to easily make more high res pixel art. So, but if you want to switch it to the side view, just do that. So that's a touch sensor. That's a hitbox. Those lines, you can turn those lines off. Don't worry. But you typically want to be able to see that hitbox, and you want it to be small. So it's just a touch sensor. That's right there. Then connect that to the player. Then make sure the touch sensor is like at the feet area and in between the character. If you're trying to get your pixel art in between the character, what you typically do is just have this part on X center. Then you make the pixel art. It's really just a launcher that's launching Mario into the air. That's a box. So if touched by the touch sensor, it activates a destroyer that's connected to the enemy character. And the touch sensor is right here. It's this little one, is also into the input of a box, or of a launcher, sorry, that makes a box, an invisible box, go upward on the Y plus axis, starting at the Y minus Y minus. Movable, solid, destructible, and destructive. You want to make it to where this box destroys itself before Mario hits the ground. I did not put that programming in here yet, but that's typically what you want to do, because the pieces, you can walk onto the pieces and you'll be able to see that on screen, but you can copy all these other settings. Put another part of the if touched by the touch sensor into a destroy object. You want this destroy object not anywhere near the players. So on the y-axis, just move it somewhere away from the characters. Then connect the destroyer to the enemy character. Have it detecting whatever the enemy character is. Mine's a person. You could also make it a UFO if you, well, you probably can't. Well, you might be able to. But mine's a person. My enemy character's a person. Invisible, box, detecting person, center, all that great stuff. So if touched, destroy person. Here's how you can do some easy pixel art. Now this isn't the best way, but it's a way that is user friendly and works. Pull out a NOT gate, put left and right into the NOT, and then put left and right into a timer. Here's my timer settings. This is how long it'll hold the new animation. I have mine starting out at 1.0 at the top up there, as you can see. Put this into a, whatever that thing's called, comparison. I don't know if this is greater than or less than, but click this, you know. And then put a timer into the top part of that and the bottom part of that. Put a NOT gate into the bottom part of that, the one that's, you know, the greater than sign or less than sign. Put this into the new walk animation. Again, this won't work with a thing that has like 100 frames or even 3 frames probably, this kind of method, but something that just has 2 frames, simple like that, this type of animating should work for that. And then put the timer into a comparisons, or a new comparison with the equal sign. Put it into both ports, and then connect the out port to the visibility of the idle animation. Put the NOT gate into the visibility of that idle animation also, or the idle sprite also. Then put a blue wire into your character from the idle, and a blue wire for your character from the walk animation also into the player character as well. If you're trying to customize the way the world looks, then all you have to do is pull out a world gadget and mess with it. And if you're trying to texture that, just, you know, make it whatever color. If you're trying to actually make your own world, you have to turn this off in the world object and then put boxes where the characters are that are invisible, and then texture them. You would just click none right here, and then you'd have to put boxes where the characters are standing while it's on the y-axis. And then you would texture them using this, and then you turn those boxes invisible. And that's how you'd make your own level, essentially. On the z-axis, you'll also want to clone these boxes as long as you want the level to be. And whenever you're ready to make your second box, just always make sure you have the settings that I have here. I'm showing this again just in case. I'll click other. As you can see, nothing is destructive. Nothing is destructible. The enemy character is destructible. And here's my settings for the destroyer. Here's my settings for the enemy character. Destructible. You could probably you could try. You might not even have to have it on the person thing. You might be able to have it on just this, and it might work. But if you have it on just that, then the launcher can't launch because this touch sensor is destroying a person, I guess. So it has to have this on, I think. Or you have to mess with the hitbox or the length of or how big the you just got to mess with the hitboxes. That's the hardest part of making a game, is messing with the hitboxes and hurt boxes. So just mess around with the size of the touch sensor and the destroyer. If you can get that right and make it feel right, that's the hardest part of making fighting games also. So at least in my opinion. So that's all you're really doing, is touching that up. And this is just a simple way to animate without too much stuff going on. To stay organized, you'll want to use wormhole, entrance, and exit. So that way you can put more in your game. That's how you would do that. Because you'll notice I'm using 2 left sticks. Really, I could be using 1 with that wormhole gadget. That's what that's for. And this should be everything. If I left anything out, let me know in the comments section. But for the most part, this should be everything. Connect game screen to the player character that you play as. Make sure all the sprites are connected to the things that you want to have sprites. And I should have the enemy movement tutorial up soon. I already have one for a 3D game up. It might not be released as a video yet, but it is uploaded as private on my channel. So subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and here's my game from Dreams PS4. So, like, what it's saying is, usually after 3 hits, you'll fall down, no matter what. But if you're blocking, then you won't faint. So, like, that's the trick, and you can dodge out of it.